You plant your tomatoes, they look strong, but the next day they're drooping. And now you're standing here thinking, did I just kill it? When tomatoes wilt after planting, they slow down. And early slowdowns cost you tomatoes, not because they died, but because you lost momentum. Now, wilt isn't cosmetic, but it's lost momentum. And the first week after planting absolutely determines your harvest. Today I'm going to show you why tomatoes wilt right after planting and how to stop it before it costs you tomatoes. Here's why wilt happens in the first place. When you transplant a tomato, the roots are still adjusting. They were just moved, some roots were disturbed in the process, and they just need a few days to kind of settle in and grow new root hairs. But during that time, the leaves are still losing water. If the roots can't keep up, the plant droops. Now that droop isn't death, but it's imbalance. Wilt means the plant just hit pause and the tomatoes don't sprint later to make up for a slow start. The first 5 to 7 days matter the most. That's the window where you either protect the growth or you stall it. Unfortunately, most of the time we create that instability or that wilt ourselves. The first reason tomatoes wilt after planting is because they weren't hardened off properly. Hardening off isn't just about getting them used to the sun. It's about getting your plant used to real outdoor conditions. When they're indoors, there's no wind, no harsh element. They're nice and cozy under grow lights, under stable temperatures. But once you move them outside, there's wind, stronger sun, cooler nights, the temperature swings, and if you move the plant outdoors fast, the leaves start working harder before the roots are ready. You didn't kill it, but you did stress it, and stress shows up as wilt. So if you skip the hardening off step, then the plant spends its first week recovering instead of growing, or it might not make it at all. So when you're hardening off your plants, make sure you do it gradually, increasing the hours of sunlight a little bit each day until they're outdoors in the sun 24/7. Now, if you are starting tomatoes right now, my spring garden seed collection is a great place to start. It's the exact varieties I plant to keep my garden producing all season long. 16 varieties total, including a few of my go-to tomatoes. And right now it's 30% off with the code RAISEDBED30. If you want to grab it, I'll put a link down in the video description. Tomatoes wilt after planting also because of cold soil. So let's talk about soil temperature. Air temperature lies. Your phone can say 75, but your soil is actually 55. Your tomatoes aren't growing faster in cold soil. When the soil is in the mid-50s or below, the root activity actually slows down. The water and the nutrient uptake slow, and the root growth slows. But the leaves don't know that. They keep losing water. That imbalance shows up as wilt. So the warm air doesn't grow tomatoes, but warm soil does. And you don't just guess what the soil temperature is. You check. What you want to do is push a thermometer 4 to 6 inches deep. I actually use my compost thermometer. You want to check mid-morning or early afternoon, and you want to look for around 60 degrees or warmer as the right time to plant your tomatoes. And look for consistency. Don't just plant on a warm weather spike. You want to plant to a trend when your soil temperature is consistently in that good temperature range for 3 to 5 days in a row. Now, if you don't have a thermometer, all you need to do is just dig down 4 to 6 inches, grab that soil in your bare hand, hold it for about 10 to 15 seconds. If it feels cool but comfortable, you're probably close to planting time. If it feels cold enough that you want to drop it, it's too early. If your hand thinks it's cold, your roots will also think it's cold. Now, if you've watched more than 2 of my videos and haven't subscribed yet, I think it's time that you do. Now, if you are planting early and pushing the envelope, like I like to do, make sure you're managing the heat. What you can do is use a black piece of plastic to warm the soil during the day, and also avoid planting in saturated, cold soil. Trap the daytime warmth in at night with a lightweight mini row cover like this one from Garden Your Way. You want to use it when the soil is kind of borderline, maybe in the upper 50s, and the nights dip down below 45 degrees. Especially when your plant was just transplanted. This cover will trap warmth overnight and buffer those temperature swings, also protecting from the wind and keep it nice and cozy. So just remove it when the soil feels warm consistently or when you see new growth pushing out from your tomato plants. The nights are above 50 or so, and then take it off on warm, sunny days. Now, if you are looking for any of the supplies I've mentioned so far, I'll drop the links below. Now, here's another reason tomatoes wilt after planting. You force growth too early. After transplanting, the plant needs some time to kind of settle into its new home. But unfortunately, this is where we try to help too much and overlove our plants. We might give them a big scoop of granular fertilizer, maybe extra water because it's kind of droopy. That's definitely pushing it. And pushing it before it's ready is how wilt lingers around even when the soil is wet. It's not always a watering problem. Many times it's a timing problem. Now here's what I actually do. I've already mended this bed with Bumper Crop Soil Builder, so I don't add more granular fertilizer at planting time. But what I do is I water it in with a good water-soluble fertilizer that has a good amount of nitrogen in it, like Monterey Fish and Grow. It does have nitrogen for early leaf growth, but it's not one big fast hit. Some is available right away and some releases more gradually. So it feeds steadily instead of being a sudden flush of leafy growth. And that matters because when sudden top growth increases the water demand of the plant and the leaves, when the demand jumps before the roots are ready, that's when the wilt shows up in the leaves. So feeding it this way supports recovery after transplanting instead of forcing growth and allows the roots to catch up. And that's how you stop the wilt cycle. Once the plant is actively growing and pushing new growth, I'll side dress it with some granular plant food once or maybe twice during the season. But that's it. So here's the bottom line. You don't just lose tomatoes in midsummer. You actually can also lose them in that first week after transplanting. Wilt is the warning, controlling the plant's environment after that first week, and the plant takes off. If the roots are ready, the top keeps up, and you'll have a good tomato harvest to show for it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time in the garden.